Hey guys. Well, that was something, wasn't it? Well, let me just start off by saying welcome to Bobcat Corner Live. And just to start things off, first of all, I already was expecting this kind of result, uh, really a couple months in advance, really. When you review the schedule for the Ohio Bobcats football team, if you were to ask me which game was the game that I was definitely not, keyword not, looking forward to, this would be the game right here. Week 4, September 21st, at Lexington, Kentucky, to face the Kentucky Wildcats of the SEC. And it is what it is. That's just the that's just how it is. It is what it is when you play when you play a game like this against an opponent that from top to bottom is much more talented than you, not just on paper, but what we saw on the field. It demonstrated itself. Um, if you guys paid attention to Bobcat Corner episode 22, the regular Bobcat Corner episode 22, you would know that I try to highlight some key points about this game between the Bobcats and the Wildcats. And I at least listed 6 things that I felt were key to address in this game. And honestly, guys, for the most part, I'm just gonna lay it out there for you guys. For the most part, we did not address those key points. I would say roughly roughly at least 4 of those 6 points that I mentioned were totally not addressed in this game. And again, it is what it is. I'm not going to I'm not going to sound all concerned and get all, upset or what have you, because I'm just not that kind of guy. I'm really a chilled out, relaxed kind of person, and I just want to start off by saying I was not I was not surprised by the result. 41-6, Kentucky over Ohio. Las Vegas, you know how those guys are over in Vegas, the odds makers. They were saying, oh, 19 and a half, Kentucky were the favorites. And for me personally, guys, I never pay attention to the betting lines. I'm not a betting person, never officially been a betting person. So I know many people who are, but for me personally, I'm not. So I didn't care about that. The lines are what they are. Vegas makes up things as they go anyway. But 19 and a half odds favorites were Kentucky. Everyone, pretty much everyone in a room could say, yeah, Kentucky's going to win. And that's what happened. Uh, I mentioned in Bobcat Corner episode 23 that it's really going to take mental toughness to overcome the battles that we were going to face, the Bobcats were going to face against Kentucky. And if I have to bring it up again, mental toughness in this game, where was it? I have to ask this honest question: where was the mental toughness for the Bobcats? Just where was it? You know, there were times, and I did watch the game. I was able to watch a good chunk of the game. Uh, there were times in this game where, just by judging by the body language, facial reactions, what have you, of the Ohio Bobcats players, it really felt like to me like for the most part they didn't want to be there. And I don't think it was a matter of being scared or anything like that. Uh, but mentally speaking, mental preparations, I just don't think that we had the right game plan in place. We did not have the right attitude. We did not have the right mentality. And it hurts. It hurts. Every time you lose a game like this, it hurts. But it was not unexpected. So, yeah, I had this game marked down as a loss anyway when I was making those predictions in that one other Bobcat Corner episode. Like, yeah, we're definitely going to lose this game against Kentucky. So I was already prepared for it. But anyway, let's get on with the stats. At least a little bit of the stats, shall we, with this game, starting with the Bobcats. Um, For starters, Parker Navarro was not playing this game. He was pulled because of an undisclosed injury right before game time. I had not heard anything of an injury report regarding Parker Navarro going into this game, and that was like a last minute decision by Tim Albin. Whatever it was, we still don't know what the undisclosed injury was, mind you. So we did not even get to see Parker Navarro in this game. So instead, we got to see Nick Paulos again, the guy who filled in for Parker Navarro later on in the game last week against Morgan State. Nick Paulos, for this game, he completed 8 of 19 passes for 110 yards and threw one interception. At least he only threw one and not three or four. And that was like one of the key points that I was highlighting about this game is like we cannot turn the ball over so much against this team, Kentucky. And did not throw too many interceptions, but there were a couple of times where he fumbled the football and it just did not jive. We were like trying to drive once down in trying to drive in Kentucky territory. We were trying to get like a touchdown, and all of a sudden we fumble the football. Kentucky recovers, and then boom, that's it. All of our momentum just got dashed right there. So turnover battles, we interception wise did not do too bad there, but fumbles that really killed us. So yeah, did not really address that point. And as far as maturity and discipline goes, I think we did fairly okay there. We were mature and disciplined enough considering everything going on. We did not commit too many pointless penalties, so that was kind of reassuring to see. If anything, Kentucky was committing a lot of penalties. I was like, "What are you guys doing? I mean, you're in the SEC team here. Why are you committing so many penalties?" But whatever, it didn't come back to bite Kentucky anyway. So yeah, I mean, we didn't commit too many penalties. I mean, that was a reassuring point there. But when it comes to just flat out executing the plays, we just weren't doing it. Bobcats were not doing it, and I mean, it's really, it is what it is. That's just how I sum it up. When you're playing a team like that in a conference like that, Kentucky, SEC, uh, you kind of know what the script is going to be. So, yeah. Duncan Brune, shout out to Duncan Brune. He's one of the running backs on our roster. He's a young guy from Germany, international recruit. Shout out to him because late in the game, garbage time, late in the game, he actually got to see playing time in the backfield on offense. That was nice to see. It really was nice to see. And I'm glad that he finally got his chance to, make some plays on offense. 6 rushes for 33 yards. I mean, late in the game did not matter at that point, but just nice to see Duncan Brune get some chances to run with the football. That was nice to see. And Ricky Hunt Jr., he tried to get going in this game. 12 rushes, 21 yards, 1 touchdown. He had 1 touchdown run from, punched in from 1 yard in. That was in the fourth quarter, and that was our only score, which made it 41-6. And for some reason, we tried to go for a 2-point conversion. I have no idea why we did that. We should have just taken the PAT to make it 7.76, but whatever. Um, I'm just gonna be honest with you guys right now, and I mentioned this leading up to this game in Bobcat Corner episode 22. It's a mentality. I'm just gonna say it right now. It's a mentality. We did not have the right mentality. Uh, whatever mental preparations we were making all the wrong ones. A big part of the game of football is that it's a mental battle. It starts up here mentally. And if you're not with it mentally, and if you're not really going at it with, in your heart that you have that desire to, make good plays, then you're not going to get it done. That's just it. Uh, the Ohio Bobcats, from top to bottom, they have got to do a better job of mentally preparing for games. I've seen breakdowns mentally in the last couple games alone, starting with the game against Morgan State last week. And unfortunately, that carried over to this week against Kentucky. We got to do a better job mentally preparing. Don't mind that. That's one of my cats. Um, a little joke there. But anyway, uh, we just got to do better with mental preparations. We're not prepared. We did not go into this game with the right mentality or attitude. And there are some injuries of note that held us back as far as depth goes. Bradley Weaver, defensive end for to name one, he was out. Uh, he was not in pads, so I could tell right away that we were going to take a hit defensively. And yeah, without going into it too much, I'm going to review this stats real fast here. Let's go here. Yeah, Brock Vandegrift, uh, Kentucky starting quarterback. He did well. 17 of 24, completed 17 of 24 passes for 237 yards. Although he got sacked once, oh well, that didn't come back to hurt him. So, and again, the rushing attack for Kentucky was great. Jamarian Wilcox, he went off 8 rushes for 82 yards. And receiving, that was the big deal there for us. Our secondary's got to do better. I'm going to lay out another thing here for you guys. The Ohio Bobcats secondary's got to do better. We are letting, more often than not throughout this regular season so far, we have been letting opposing wide receivers get the best of us. We're giving them too much space to work with. We're letting them run their routes way too easily. We're not we're not getting we're not getting up close and disrupting any of those routes. We're not making an attempt to do it. And the tackling is just not good from the secondary standpoint. Missed tackles, broken tackles, let the wide receivers get big gains, let them get space out in the field so they can catch the deep ball. It's not good. Not necessarily beating you on the deep route, but just giving them enough space so that they can make plays whenever they do catch the football. That's not good. I don't care what kind of talent you have on your secondary. If you allow a lot of space like that for opposing wide receivers, you're going to be in for a long game. That's all there is to it. So I made this graphic about key points versus Kentucky. Don't turn the ball over. We did turn the ball over. Be disciplined and mature. No penalties. Very few penalties. So we kind of did okay there with discipline and maturity. Uh, be bold and creative. Not really. I wouldn't say we were all that creative or bold for that matter. Uh, yeah, fourth and short situations they did not come about anyway. Many defensive looks. As far as defensively goes, it looked like we were kind of trying to change up looks for Brock Vandegrift to look at, but it did not seem to matter when it comes to execution. Run heavy, pass later. That is one thing I can say. Uh, I could tell that we were legitimately trying to run the football. We were trying to establish the run. I did see some sort of effort with that. So that was nice and reassuring to see. But again, the execution was not there. And a big part of why the execution was not there was because of another point, number 5 on that graphic. If you recall Bobcat Corner episode 22, protect the trenches, offensive and defensive line. Guys, I'm just being honest with you. The Bobcats just did not do well. The trenches were pretty much lost early on in the game. The Kentucky defensive line, especially, they just broke free whenever they wanted to. They got a lot of talent. There's a big talent gap physically between SEC teams and G5, in this case, MAC teams. That is to be expected when you have a talent gap like that. I knew that going in because I knew there about this mismatch overall between these two teams. But if you're trying to make preparations, you cannot afford that. You cannot afford to just give up the trenches so easily like that. No matter how much of a talent gap there is, you got to try to protect the trenches. Bobcats did not do a good enough job with that. I'm just being honest. So the offensive line for the Bobcats did not do enough to, you know, fend off, push away the Kentucky defensive linemen. And on the flip side, Ohio Bobcats did not get all that much pressure at all on Brock Vandergrift. It was a long day, not many defensive looks there from Ohio, and protecting the trenches. Yeah, whenever Kentucky ran the ball, they ran the ball well. They just gashed through whatever defensive look we had. So it is what it is. And like I said, for the longest time, I was not looking forward to this game. I was not confident about this game. In the back of my mind, I was thinking, yeah, watch Kentucky do all this. And then, sure enough. So I'm not going to dwell so much on this game. In fact, I was going back and forth between watch this game and painting on canvases, like those guys in the back there, canvases. I like to paint pictures for a hobby, so I spent my time doing that a little bit instead of watching this game because it was just a non-factor. And really, this is going to be a topic way down the road in the future, especially when we get to it about college football. These games against power conferences like Big Ten teams and SEC teams, they sometimes they get on my nerves for the fact that there's such a big talent gap. It's like, why are we even playing these games? If you know for if you pretty much know for a fact that a Big Ten team or SEC team is just going to win, why are we playing the games? If there's such a big talent gap, maybe there should be an official separation between Power 2 and G5 or whatever number. I'm already seeing it a few years down the road, guys, that there's going to be an official split, an official separation between Big Ten and SEC and everyone else. I know college football fans don't want that to happen per se, but I just think that's going to happen, whether we want that or not. And it probably has to happen, to be honest with you, because there's going to come a time when a lot of college football fans are not going to want to put up with Big Ten or SEC teams in general in any time, regular season or college football playoff. Uh, it gets awful hard to enjoy a product on the field when you know a conference or a team is so much more talented than you from the get go, from the start, before the regular season starts and before a game starts. And you have to watch this game play out, just like this one between Ohio and Kentucky. It's just not good. It's not good for the overall long term health of the sport. And yeah, you can make all the money you want, but if your product is suffering because of these financial decisions that you think are best, there's a problem. I'm just going to say it. There's a problem. Anyway, mental toughness, we did not have enough of it. We were, if anything, it showcased that in some aspects, the Ohio Bobcats, we were mentally fragile compared to the Kentucky Wildcats, excuse me. And what I did not like, and I'm going to say it, what I did not like was the fact that at one point before halftime, the second quarter, I got to mention this. It felt like Kentucky was toying with us. I did not appreciate that at all. Okay. It was late in the second quarter. I recall this because I watched it. It was fourth down and 7 yards to go. Kentucky was driving. It seemed like Kentucky had been stopped by Ohio's defense and that Kentucky was just going to settle for a field goal. This was late in the second quarter. So instead of trying to kick a 56-yard field goal or what was the 53-yard field goal, I forget, but Kentucky was like lining up for the field goal. Then they called a timeout, and then they brought their offense back in. Apparently, Brock Vandergrift was upset that he wasn't being able to play the fourth down, but he got his wish, and they played the fourth down, and he threw a big pass, complete, and it was the first and goal after that. It's stuff like that when, as a team, you can be mentally broken down like that, which was the case with the Ohio Bobcats, unfortunately, today. And it's pretty eye opening. And going forward, next week we have to just rebound, we have to recover, we have to regroup, because we're going to be starting Mid-American Conference play here, starting with Akron next week, September 28th, next Saturday, and we got to prepare for that. MAC conference play starts officially next week, and we just got to get ready. We got to be in the right, mindset for this. 2-2. I mean, we got a couple wins uh, this year, but we have to do better. Definitely from a mentality standpoint, mental toughness, we got to do better. I understand that we've lost a lot of talent over the year. Over the offseason, we lost like 58 players, and it's tough. It's tough to make that transition. But mentally, you cannot have these mistakes. You cannot keep making these mistakes and expect to win a lot of games. So I do believe we can take care of our business against Akron. I truly believe that. And it, and it does have to start there, because if it doesn't start with Akron, then we're in for a longer season than I thought. It's mental, guys. And if any Ohio Bobcats players are watching this, I just want to tell you guys again, a big part of this is mental. You got to be in the right mindset and the right attitude to get this job done, because stuff like this against Kentucky is not going to cut it. Long term, big picture, a year from now, a couple years from now, if you guys are going to stay together as a team and you want to make that march towards college football playoffs, supposedly one day, you got to do better than this. You got to be much more, much better prepared mentally than you did here. That's all there is to it, guys. If you don't get into the right mindset, you're not going to win. Doesn't matter how much talent you have. That's it. So yeah, did not want to go on too long about this, but yeah, 41-6, tough loss, but we got to dust ourselves off and just move on to the next game. We got to put this game behind us. I do believe we can take care of our business against Akron, like I said, but these mental errors, this lack of mental preparedness, it's got to stop. We got to stop throwing interceptions. We got to stop. Uh, got to stop coughing up the football with the fumbles. We have to be better mentally aware of what we're doing. That's all there is to it. So yeah, just want to get this off. Hope you guys are doing okay today. I've had a long week, personally speaking, and I've had a long week this week. So just trying to hang in there. I've had I've had a lot of stuff happen to me this week, personally, that don't wish to get into right now. But yeah, hope you guys stick with me. I'm still gonna keep reporting about the Ohio Bobcats. There will be better days ahead. Just like I said after the Syracuse game, there will be better games ahead for us. I truly believe that. So yeah, shout out to the Ohio Bobcats players. If they ever watch this, I don't know who's watching this, to be honest with you, but yeah, it's a mentality. Get in the right mindset, guys. That's it. Well, I got to be signing off here tonight. So take care. Have a good night. And I'll see you guys soon.